First of all, I'm James Knight, founder of Gentle Somatic Yoga, in case there's some new people here joining our deep dive with the theme Somatic Chair. And I brought on Misha to stay here with us in our view because Misha joined our team, my team, in February of this year-ish. Is that right, Misha?
Yes.
Okay, well, anyway, she is an angel send because Misha's behind the scenes. So some of you are going to probably interact with her. She's customer care at gentlesomatichoga.com. I'm so grateful for Misha. Without her, we wouldn't even be here doing this right now. So I just wanted everybody to meet Misha with a face and a voice. And Misha, we appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Yes, and I recognize so many names, so it's good to put faces with the names. If you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out either on this call, during the chat, or via email. You know how to catch me.
Okay. Have a wonderful weekend. And then now I'm here with Lori Hill, my friend, my peer, somebody who inspires me very much. Lori has been trained in Gentle Somatic Yoga Level 1, Level 2, Level 3. And we have a really beautiful relationship. We've been, she used to teach Somatic Sanctuary, our once a month live stream, the 6 p.m. slot. So Lori's been teaching with us for a long time. And so we've been creating, I know that one of Lori's gifts is using chairs, props, modifications. She teaches many classes every week live in South Dakota, North Dakota. North Dakota. I haven't been to either Dakota, so I don't know. I'm dyslexic with that. Anyway, so we've been working on this for a long time. So some of you that have been following Gentle Somatic Yoga, I don't teach classes live anymore. So you know, I stopped doing that, gosh, probably in 2018. And instead now, as some of you know, I travel and do live streams and everything we have so many different things going on. So today's workshop has been in the making for a long time. And Lori has been modifying this for a chair for a long time. And I know that a lot of you are teachers, therapists, body workers, and that you work with this demographic. Also, so this is going to be an action-packed day. We're going to be teaching 3 separate classes. Lori and I will be teaching the first one, the first class. We're going to call it a session, and we're going to be modifying somatic movement flows, just as if you were taking a floor class modified for the chair. One of us is going to be teaching the somatic movement flow. We're going to stay side by side like this. And for example, so if I start off teaching, Lori's going to be giving examples of how you can use props and other things and modify it even further. And then when she's teaching, I'm going to be doing the same somatic movement flow, but I'm going to be modifier. And then after that session, we're going to have a short break. There isn't a lot of time for Q&A or comments, because we want to deliver, and we're so passionate about giving you a lot of different kinds of experience today using the chair as a prop. So we're going to take a short break, water, do whatever you need, and then we're moving right into the second session, which is all Lori. And this is going to be so awesome because Lori is such a skilled movement educator. Anytime she teaches, something new comes up. And so this is going to be as if we're in Lori's house, and whatever comes through as a channel with Lori, we're all going to do it together, of course, with the neuroscience, the philosophy of Gentle Somatic Yoga, but it's just going to be, who knows what it's going to be. It's going to be a surprise, I think, which I'm really looking forward to. And I wanted to show you, because Lori's such a seasoned GSY teacher and movement educator and yoga teacher, how you can get creative bringing Gentle Somatic Yoga as an inspiration into your classes. And then finally, the third session, I'll be teaching. It'll just be me on the screen, and it's going to be about functional and nutritious movement through everyday activity. So for example, using the chair. So when we're behind our desk, when we're on a plane flying somewhere for long periods of time, when we're at an event like a theater, a concert, a play, And then, of course, we're driving in the car. So the very last session will be real life. What do we do when we're stuck in a chair and we don't want to just be sitting there frozen? So those are the 3 sessions. That's what you can expect. We'd highly recommend that you have a journal nearby, something that you can write notes and for yourself. And of course, you'll have the replays to practice. But there's just not going to be enough time to dive into all the questions. So we're going to think of something creative, because this is the most well-attended deep dive in the history of Gentle Somatic Yoga. And a lot of people have signed up just to get the recordings because they're on the other side of the world. So our intention is just to have this be super experiential, hopefully very playful, a lot of ideas that are going to come your way. And this is just the first step into many other steps for Somatic Chair. So if you're ready to jump in, I am. And so Lori's going to stay on the screen. I am going to stay on the screen, and I'm just going to back up a little bit. These are going to be about 45-minute classes. So find your chair if you're not on it already. I think I need to turn around a little bit so I can see myself, what you're seeing. There we go. Yeah. So for this first somatic movement flow, I would suggest you're not sitting too far back and you're not sitting too far front. It's more like kind of in the middle. And the knees are bent at right angles, so your feet underneath your knees, and your hands are palms facing up on back of the thighs. So let's close our eyes. Let's come back into, I will come back into just grounding. So everybody please close their eyes. And let's just do our first Soma scan. So drawing our attention and intention inward, inside, where we can start noticing felt sensation. For example, for me, my feet are on a carpet. It has a really nice texture, soft. Feels like my heel is heavier than the rest of my foot. I can feel the back of my hands on my knees. The clothes touching my skin create sensation. Little moisture in the eyes with the eyelids together. So how about you? What do you notice right now in your inside your beautiful body temple, the Soma? How do you feel in this moment, as this is our first inner snapshot, and we'll take one at the end of the workshop? So what is your state right now? How's your breath? Is it flowing? Do you feel calm? Do you feel open? Is there any discomfort anywhere? So without judging, we're just changing brainwaves and coming into parasympathetic nervous system dominance, preparing the brain to learn something new. This might be a good time to set our intention individually and as a collective. So what would you like to experience today? What inspired you to sign up for this deep dive workshop? And I'd like to encourage you to create an affirmation. So it might sound something like this. My intention today is to be inspired to learn how to sit and create a lifestyle that's more nourishing when I'm in a chair. Or it could be, if you're a teacher, my intention is to learn something to give to my clients. So whatever it is for you, maybe it's just to have fun and relax. So what is your intention? Let's set it now. Beautiful. And then open your eyes, blink your eyes open.
All right, so I like to begin with Namaste Flow. Let's bring our hands to prayer position in front of the heart. Make sure you have enough room so that when we extend our arms, your back isn't going to be hitting the chair. So you might actually need to move a little bit forward. I do. Hands come to prayer position in front of the heart. Let's inhale. Exhale. Index finger, thumb stay together, creating a triangle. Tilt the pelvis, chin to chest. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, arms come back down towards the earth. Keep the feet open, the toes relaxed. Inhale, back to heart center. Full body movement. Exhale, tuck the pelvis, tuck the chin and extend the arms. Inhale, lift. You can undulate your spine back up as you take an extra sip of air at the top, and exhale, coming down. 2 more. Move in a way that feels good to your soma. Inhale. Big C shape in the back body. Maybe relax in the neck at the end. Inhale. Exhale. So just feel into all the body shapes that we're making just through this simple instruction. Last time, bringing fresh prana life force in with the breath. Recycling that. Exhale. Inhale, arms lift. Spine undulates. Exhale, bring your energy down towards the earth. Hands, palms facing up and back of the knees, eyes closed. Settle down with the energy to ground towards the earth and also into our somatic center, which I consider near the heart and solar plexus. How do you feel? Did anything change? For me, a lot of tingling on the fingertips and heat through the palms. How about you? All right. The next somatic movement flow modified for the chair is heart opening. I'm going to face the camera. Widen your stance a little bit, wider than hip width apart. Hands on the knees. And really grounding down through the left hip, lead with the right elbow and imagine there's a beach ball between your elbow and your hip. So we're focusing now on the other side. Let's switch to the left. So opening through the left side and the head tilts a little bit towards the right shoulder. And let's go back and forth now, slow and smooth. And now let's focus on the left side. Feel how the muscles on the left side are shortening as compared to the right side. And then move over to the left, shift to the left. And feel the muscles on the right side shortening. One more time to the left, slow and smooth. Feel the shift of sensation in the hips. And then last time to the right. So always moving slow and smooth and never pushing past pain or strain. Stay in your comfort zone. This practice is meant to feel good in your body. Let's come back to neutral and relax the elbows and shoulders. This time, place your hands in front of the knees, and you'll want to be, again, a little bit more forward on the chair because we're going to lean back, much like we did in the Namaste flow. So lean back, chin to chest, ribs come down to the pelvis, and the tailbone tucks under. Release the weight of the head at the end of the movement. From the pelvis, tilt it forward first, come up one vertebrae at a time. We're articulating one vertebrae at a time. Almost like beads on a necklace if you've taken our classes before. Now, leaning forward with a small arch in the lower back, bring the elbows back so the shoulders come back towards the spine. And extending up through the top of the head, leading with the chin forward, creating some length through the upper body. Feel the back body shorten. So we're intentionally engaging the back muscles. And now let's release those back muscles by undulating back, chin to chest, shoulders forward. So the intent is to not only warm up the spine and bring mobility, but we're learning how to differentiate with the muscles between each vertebrae. So again, tilt the pelvis forward. This is the last time. Just take your time. Feel the stacking one at a time. Feel your body changing shapes as the heart shines forward, extending through the top of the head. Shoulder blades come back towards the spine. Close your eyes if they're not already. Feel the back body. And let's come back to neutral. Relax the feet, really keep grounded with the feet. Let's put that together into a circle. Bring your hands out to the side and lean to the right. Now start rolling back, chin to chest, so it's like a quarter circle. And we're going to keep the circle moving. Lead with the left elbow. And let's keep the circle moving, coming forward, shining with the heart. So now we're going to create this spiral move to the right, left ear to left shoulder, both shoulders forward, pelvis tucks, leading with the left elbow, right side shortens, and then shining through the heart. So on your own, close your eyes if they're not already. And the reason why we close our eyes is so we can keep focusing inward with the different choice points we make. So just move in a way that not only feels good, but you want to discover that part of your body. It's not very often that we take our time with slow movement. So intuitively move into this circle or spiral and feel how the pelvis change positions, the neck, the head, and then let's slow it down. And let's move the opposite direction. So again, I'm going to keep emphasizing this through the whole class and with Lori's classes as well, is that in Gentle Somatic Yoga, it's really learning how to increase our own somatic intelligence, meaning we're just witnessing how we want to be embodied in our body by making these choices, how to move. So if you want to stop in the circle and go back and forth because there's a part of the body that wants more highlight, feel free. That's called micro movements. We're just still warming up right now. Let's create less of a spiral until we come back to a neutral position. When you're back to a neutral position, palms facing up and back of the knees, with the eyes closed, let's do a cleansing breath together. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth, audible sound. Let the vibration move through all of your tissues, down to the feet. Let's do another cleansing breath. Inhale. Softening the face, softening the shoulders, the wrists, the pelvis, the belly, the feet. Soma scan. Notice how you feel from the inside out. I'm having this wonderful swirling sensation through different parts of the body, and I can also feel my pulse of my heart and my fingertips. I'm just illustrating some things to encourage you to notice in your body, what do you feel? Some people don't know how they feel, except for I feel good or I feel relaxed. But what I'm asking for is sensation. And I'll explain that later, why it's so important in this method to continue this art of interoception. Okay, blinking the eyes open. Next is Celtic cross. So let's take a moment and just kind of shake it out a little bit. Just kind of wiggle your shoulders, wiggle your, what am I wiggling? I don't know. There's movement in the pelvis, the head, just kind of like maybe even the hands, just shake it out. Maybe tapping with the feet. Okay. One more. Swimming shoulders. So Lori, do you mind standing for this one and using, because I'm gonna sit, but if you want to have a position you want, maybe behind, maybe like this, and then I think this might be a nice demonstration. Whatever feels natural, yeah. Unless you wanted to do something different.
Are we doing Celtic cross or swimming shoulders?
I can't hear you.
Are we doing Celtic cross or swimming shoulders?
You know what, Lori, this is going to be a challenge because I can't hear you at all.
Okay. Dave?
Okay, we're going to continue while Lori's getting set up. So swimming shoulders. I'm going to turn, let's see, I'm wearing a dark shirt. It's probably hard to see. So arms by your side. Starting with the right shoulder. In fact, let's just do a little pre-check. So with your right shoulder, start exploring your range of motion, creating these circles. So you're externally rotating and internally rotating the arm. Lori, if you have earbuds, I'm not sure, but we're definitely going to need to hear your sound because we can barely hear you. So anyway, just explore your range of motion with that right shoulder and reverse. And we might as well do the other side. So what's interesting for me is I'm feeling a lot of tightness in my back body when I do that. Now let's just explore the right side. Now with the hand, with the arm by your side, internally rotate your arms so the chin and the shoulder are coming together. And your back body can be in a slight C shape. And now sitting up, let's come back to neutral and release all muscular effort. And then again, let's internally rotate that right shoulder, shoulder towards the chin, chin to the shoulder, and then slowly coming out back to neutral, where you release all muscular effort. And then one more time, internally rotating the arm, thumb tucks in, shoulder to chest, chin to shoulder. And then slowly coming out, release muscular effort. With the opposite now, externally rotate the arm. You can feel the shoulder blade coming back. Let's pause here, maybe even coming into a slight arch. And come back to neutral, release muscular effort. Now change the vector, change the angle. Externally rotate the arm and maybe hug your shoulder blades somewhere else behind you. Now this can feel really good. If you're tight back there, aim for a tight spot without pain or strain. Come back to neutral. And then one more time, pick another angle. Like I'm gonna choose to bring my shoulder blade down towards my right hip. You can even bend at the elbow. So just feeling the muscles on the right side, shoulder and back, and release, come back to neutral, let it all go. All right, and now raise the ear to the shoulder, shoulder to ear, pause. With the eyes closed, feel the muscles engaging from the ear to the shoulder, slowly come down. And as you come down, the head comes back to neutral. It doesn't go over to the left side. So relax. And now pick another vector. So I'm going to choose to bring my shoulder blade back and tilt my head a different way. So again, what part of your body would like to be discovered in these shapes? Slow and smooth. Notice how the shoulder doesn't come down really fast. This is where we engage sensory motor cortex. For those of you that are yoga therapists, yoga teachers, one more time, I'm just explaining a little bit of the neuroscience. Shoulder to ear, ear to shoulder, different vector. This time I'm coming into a slight slouch. So it's up to you. That's what my body wanted to do. And now come back to neutral, rest. Now we're going to lean on the left hip because the focus is going to be shortening from the armpit of the right side to the hip on the right side. So you might need to get creative. I'm going to come a little bit further forward in my chair because there's a tilt with the right hip, a slight tilt, and reach again without pain or strain. You can bring your head looking down and coming up. So I notice that I'm coming up on the ball of my foot a little bit. The intent is to shorten the right side body. Change the angle. If you want to come up on the ball of your right foot, lift your heel and maybe reach at a different angle. Head is looking down. Feel the ribs getting closer together, coming back and release. And then one more time. I just realized something funny that just happened. I was beginning to teach swimming shoulders and change to Celtic cross. Come back to neutral. Okay. And let's relax. Ah, beautiful. And now let's connect by rolling the shoulder up to the ear, externally rotate the arm, reaching down, internally rotating the arm, and the head just kind of moves. So big, round circles. Please allow for the whole body to move. Feel the ribs shifting, the pelvis shifting, the head changing shapes. So this is integration. Just move in a way that feels good to your body always. Reverse and get creative. But it's mostly the right side, right shoulder. Let the head bobble. And then let's come into a brief Soma scan. Both palms facing up and back of the legs. Take a cleansing breath, inhale. Reset. So as a post check, bring the arm down, and I'm just curious to know if that right side feels a little more mobile. Maybe you have a little more range of movement. Can still feel some tightness for me on the ribs, but you can, the intent is to show you how you can use these somatic movement flows for the chair. And that was a really good education for me. I can feel it. I'd like to do this more maybe later. So my intent was to, for those of you that know swimming shoulders, I was going to teach that, and then I went dyslexic and started teaching Celtic cross instead, which is equally valuable. So going with the flow, I'm going to turn my chair around so we can do the left side, so you can see me if you want to. All right, let's explore mobility in the left side, left shoulder. So we're just, this is the pre-check, just being curious. What's going on? Is there any clicking, popping, any places that feel tight? Any places where you're not feeling at all? That's the pre-check. Okay. So I don't know about you, but boy, I'm feeling a lot of my back feels chunky and kind of inflamed-ish. The front is less sensitive. So this is great because when I ask you pre-check and post-check, it's just to continue to build that intimacy with yourself so that you can read your body's, we can read our body's messages and then respond in everyday life. So we're increasing self-awareness. All right. So let's explore left side Celtic cross. Celtic cross, left side. So we started with the internal rotation of the right arm, shoulder to the center of the chest, slight curve through the back body, and then rotate back to neutral, sitting up nice and tall, and release muscular effort. This is a pandiculation. We pause in between so the brain can feel muscles turning on, muscles turning off. Now let's internally rotate the left arm again in towards the somatic center, but change a different angle. So we're intentionally engaging the muscles of the pectoralis and muscles of the neck and all the way down into the lats. One more time. Change your body shape. Internally rotate. The thumb turns inward. Head goes down. Chin goes down. And we come back to neutral. Release muscular effort. For those that know about the red light reflex, this is a wonderful way to reset and lengthen those muscles. So now bringing the shoulder blade back, externally rotating, palm is open, and maybe even bend through the elbow. So the intention is to engage the rhomboid muscles between the shoulder blade and the spine, and then slowly come back to neutral and release. So we sit up nice and tall, but relaxed. Again, externally rotate. The head turns to the left. Choose a different angle. Sense and feel. Be curious. And slowly coming out. So I'm aiming for muscle groups that I know that are tight in my soma. I'll encourage you to do the same. One more time. Let's find another body shape. Externally rotate, move in a way where your body's saying, yes, that's where I want to go. And then come back to center and release muscular effort. Beautiful. And now we're going to reach down, shortening. No, let's bring, I forget which one I did on the other side, but it really doesn't matter the order. Let's reach down with the arm. So coming up on the ball of the left foot, shortening the side body, feeling the muscles engaging from the armpit to the hip, coming out slow and smooth, coming into a neutral seated position with least muscular effort. Change the angle, reach with the hand, shoulder to hip, armpit to hip, hip to shoulder, and come back to neutral. So we always want to change a little bit within the instructions so the sensory motor cortex is activated. One more time, meaning the brain loves to learn something new. So we're just notice if there's another spot in experience and coming out and release. Okay, and then now shoulder to ear, ear to shoulder. Again, feel free to come into an arch if you'd like to. I'm introducing this concept of somatic intelligence. So let the soma guide you, which is kind of a funny thing because we are the soma, but it's a different level of consciousness. So come on into another shape, ear to shoulder, shoulder to ear. How does your body want to move? Witness that. And then also really important to come out slow and smooth so we keep in that choice point, letting go. Last time, ear to shoulder, shoulder to ear. Change your body shape. And this is how we unwind from deep-rooted stress patterns throughout the neck and shoulder and upper back, letting go. And then now big rolling circles with the arm. It doesn't matter which direction, just kind of exploring, integrating. Change directions if you haven't already. Let the head move, let the hips move, the pelvis. And then let's come back to neutral. Palms in front of, palms facing up in the back of the knees. Inhale. How do you feel from the inside out? What do you notice as felt sensation? Blink your eyes open. Let's do post check left side and just rotating the arm in circles. Remember, we did this before we started, and yeah, for me, it feels like the glide's a little easier. Maybe I might have increased my range of motion. So the pre-check and the post-check is part of the GSY method. It's a way for the brain to witness there's some kind of change. Even if you're not necessarily feeling it, there has been some repatterning. Okay, so from here, I'm going to pass it on to Lori. Lori, it's 45 minutes past the hour, and I know that we had plans to do more, but maybe I'll just leave it up to you, whatever you'd prefer. So let's see if we can finish maybe 10 after the top of the hour. Does that sound good?
Okay. All right. We've been sitting for a lengthy period of time, so now my invitation is to come to stand. So the first thing is just to kind of move around, be creative, let any of that sitting tension go. Everything is important. We need to be able to sit, but we need to be able to change our position. And James led us through a lot of variations that we could change the weight, change the load, and find more comfort and less tension. So we're going to practice restore the core sequence, but we're going to do it from standing orientation instead of the typical floor orientation. So I'm going to invite you to come behind the chair, or if you have a wall, that would be awesome as well. So I'm just going to find my stance on my feet. I'm simply going to rest my hands on the back of the chair with my fingers very light, with little to no tension. I even have an idea. If you have a half dome, or if you have a towel, you can roll your towel and set your feet so the arch of your foot would be on the center of the towel or the dome. So I'll use the dome just for fun, and then you can kind of see it. It's going to increase your challenge and your stability, but you also get this rocking with the feet. So as you notice how your feet, ankles, and lower legs respond to the movement, you can add the pelvis. At what point does your pelvis want to arch back or tuck forward? So pubic bone to nose or pubic bone away from the nose. So this would be our arch and flatten. So if you have done arch and flatten, you have that muscle memory, and you can visualize in your mind that action. And then we can also come into the arch and flatten and curl the upper body, and then slowly come back to the arch. And then once again, there's our flattening and then the curl. And then we come back to a gentle arch. So no pain or strain in your lower back. That's your body listening for those signals. And then one more time, there's our arch and curl. And there is the arch and return. Perfect. So if you use something under your feet, you're welcome to take that away. That was just something different to give yourself a different experience. From the arch and flatten, arch and curl, we're going to go to the X. So X is a prone position. So I'd like you to think about pressing your thighs forward, drawing your hips underneath your shoulders so you're standing in your tallest pose. And then it would be a good option, if you feel safe, to use some kind of lift, just a little bit or a lot. So I'm just going to choose the little bit. I'm going to stand with my one foot on a slightly more elevated surface. I'm going to take my free foot without the block under the foot and just bring it slightly behind me. So I can still feel the rooted connection of the ball of the foot or the tip of the toes on the floor. So I find my elongation from my crown to my toe. I'm also going to bring my opposite hand up to my forehead and possibly even turn my head. So I'm going to switch sides just so so you might be able to see this a little better. So foot on the elevated surface, opposite foot just supporting you, hand up, head turned to the elbow. Just lift the elbow from that imaginary floor, feel the shoulder blade tuck into your spine, and then disengage completely. Try that 2 more times. And then once again, contract, activating the muscles, pause, sense and feel, slowly disengage and notice the fluid disconnect. 1 more time, contracting. And releasing. So now we can add the leg. So as the elbow goes back, tucking the shoulder blade, think about lightening the free foot on the floor, extending your spine, lifting your heart, and then slowly disconnect. Activate, shoulder girdle. Find your hamstring and your glute. You're going to feel your back muscles engaging safely, just to that intensity that feels ideal for you, and then disengage. 1 more time. Elbow goes back. Back leg lifts just ever so slightly off the floor. It's more of a disconnect than a big lift. And then slowly release. Relax your arm and change sides. So, kind of a salute hand position up on the forehead, brow region. Activate your core so your lower back is protected. Opposite foot is back, just barely touching the floor. Focus on lifting the elbow. And release. Feel that shoulder blade gliding toward the spine, just like we did in our Celtic cross. Retraction. And just simply be aware if this side feels more available or less available with the change in the short arm. When you're ready, if you're comfortable, disconnect your foot from the floor. Feel that extension, feel yourself growing a little taller, and then slowly disconnect. Activate the muscles. Find your experience. Learn from it. Let it go. 1 more time. Notice if you're really gripping onto the chair. Are your fingers still light? And then disconnect and let it go. Perfect. Go ahead, take that away. That completes our X. We have, what toy will I use next? Side crunches. So, this is the one where we're side lying, knees are tucked up into that 90 degrees, and the hand is typically on the top of your head, but I'd like for you to bring awareness to the top of your spine and the base of your skull. So you're going to imagine and keep that image in your mind's eye. So instead of maybe putting your hand on your head because it just doesn't feel great to lift your arm up, you could rest your forehead temple onto your fist. So with that in mind, head pressing into hand, hand pressing into head. Kick up your outside foot and side crunch. And then slowly come back and pause. So I'm going to lift my head, pressing into my hand with just a very slight resistance. I'm picking up my foot, keeping my knee pointing to the opposite knee. and then return. And I'll change the angle a little bit. Foot kicks up like you're doing that dance, the Charleston, and you side bend, shortening ribs to hips, and let it go. Try it on the other side. Fist to forehead, hand on chair, or you could even have a hand on the wall. Pick up your foot. Maybe turn your gaze down towards the bottom rib, toward the hip. Maybe you'll see your foot in your peripheral vision, and then slowly come back to stand. Feel that connection between your fist and your head, side bending. Which muscles are contracting? Which muscles are lengthening? How does it feel? Last time, activate the core first. Everything feels safe. Only move as far as it feels safe for you. Pause and slowly release and bring it back. So the next one is the diagonal. So the curl onto the diagonal. I like to think of that connection between my armpit and my hip, or my bottom rib and my hip bone. So you can kind of draw that imaginary diagonal line across your torso as you think about this. So I'm going to invite you to pick up one foot, just as high as it feels comfortable to you. Bring the other hand behind your head, or again, you can bring your fist to your forehead, keeping in mind the top of your spine, the base of your skull. We're going to arch and lift the heart, come through neutral, tuck, and bring the elbow across the midline, and then slowly come back. And feel free to take a rest. Shake out the legs. Same side, find a stance, activate your core, activate your muscles, arch to extend the spine, and then flex, melting your lower back and bringing that elbow across the midline. Come on back through to neutral and release. Probably finding a little more work on that standing leg as well as the leg that you're holding. So finding, maybe you decide to put your hands right at the base of your skull and feel the back of your skull kind of pressing into your head. So you have that ears ramping position, so you have that cervical spine alignment. Foot comes up, inhale, lift your heart, look up only, let your head fall into your hand, curl your upper body, feel your abdominals, bring your elbow across the midline, bring it on back, and return. And then we'll try it on the other side. So I'm going to bring up my other hand, other foot, bring my hand to my head, press my head into my hand, elongate my spine, arch, lift my heart, sip that breath in, exhale, start to curl, and move on to the diagonal. Feel the abdominals, bring yourself on back, and return. Notice if you're holding tension in your shoulders while you hold on to the back of the chair. I might recommend for you that you just simply turn around as opposed to coming onto the other side of the chair. Just if that's what you've done, you can try it for yourself. See if there's a difference. Inhale, arch, lift the heart. Exhale, feel the abdominals supporting you. Feel that armpit toward the hip, rib to the opposite hip bone. Inhale back and return. One more time. Foot elevates only to the height that feels good. Your core is active. Light fingertip touch on the chair. Arch, lift your heart. Neutral, flex, and diagonal rotation. Bring yourself on back to center and return back to standing. So the other one that I'm going to sneak in today is swimming frog. So this will be fun. We will sit for this one, however. So if you need something to sit on, that's great. What I would recommend is a towel, just a simple washcloth. So that way, if you're on a floor, you'll be able to slide quite nicely. So we'll just start with the feet parallel, sitting tall in your seat with just the right muscular effort. So you're not overly extending the spine. The ribs are moving in towards the back body. Your belly is soft and yet lifting. We're going to start with the leg extended a little forward, and you're sitting towards the front edge of your chair. Allow your foot to roll out so you have that flop. So my arch is presented to the ceiling, and then I'm going to slide my foot in towards the other foot, only to the point that feels comfortable.
Lori, Lori,
Yes.
can you hear me? Can you please back up? We can't see your feet or your shins. Thank you.
All right. So leg is extended, foot flops out, and the foot slides up. So we have inner thigh, gentle hip opener, and then we slide it back out. Roll it open, disengage, and then draw that knee up and in. Pause and feel. Slowly return the leg all the way out and rest. So even though you're focusing your attention on what's moving, also think about what's staying stable. So your core is engaged, you still have that beautiful alignment, head on top of your spine, shoulders relaxed, and a smile. And then slide that leg out. And then we'll switch over to the other side. So leg starts extended, core is engaged, just a gentle upright, comfortable pose, toe rolls out, and the foot slides up. And right away, you might notice that there's a different sensation in the knee, or the inner thigh, or the hip. And then just notice how you choose to breathe. Do you inhale as you let your leg flop out? You exhale as you pull the leg up? Do you inhale as you move your leg out? And then exhale as you rest. And if you're breathing in the opposite direction, that is perfect as well. So now you have that experience of swimming frog. I'm just using a single leg for the chair version, however. So the other part to that one is to take the foot, slide it out away from the midline, bend the knee, stop whenever you feel like your hip, your knee, your ankle is talking to you, and that leg comes back. Relax all muscular effort. Toe rolls in toward the midline, foot drags out. And maybe notice this time you had a different range of motion. And then bring that leg on back. And rest everything. One more time. Activate your core. Keep your core supported, your spine stable and protected. And bring that leg around. Bring it on back. And relax. Perfect. Try it on the other side. So leg starts extended. Core is engaged. Toe rolls in toward the midline, and the heel sweeps around. And that first repetition, you don't have to go where you think it should go. You can easily just stop on maybe 1/3 of what you might be able to do, and then bring yourself down and pause. Second repetition, same thing. Maybe you just go as far as you did because that felt great for you. Maybe you go, oh, a little bit more. So you can still look for your edge throughout each of the experiences. And then one more time, toe rolls in, leg sweeps out, Notice what that sensation is, and then slowly bring it back and let it go. Perfect. Come on up to stand and maybe take a walk around the room. Notice how you feel. So you have awareness of your foot, your ankle, your knee, your hips, your ribs, your shoulders, and your head. You may notice that you feel like you've worked some muscles, and you might notice that you have just a different presence in your body at this moment. And then when you're ready, come back into your seated position. And once you're back into a comfortable seated position, let's just bring our attention to the breath. Maybe one hand on the belly and one hand at the center of the chest. And establish your connection to your breath. Notice the parts of you that are moving and expanding. And then how your body softly contracts and lets go. And just affirm health and vitality. So you're inhaling health, you're exhaling health, you're inhaling vitality, you're exhaling vitality. Affirm health and vitality. And then when you're ready, just allow your hands to rest gently on you. So if you check back in with yourself at the beginning of class, you set your intention. And hopefully you found your practice today to be playful, and that you have an open mind and were curious to learn something new. You acknowledged any pain or sensitivity and made the appropriate choices to move through your body. And you even use the visualization skill. So if something doesn't feel available to you today, even using the visualization of that movement is going to be powerful, all attributing to your health and vitality. Namaste.
Beautiful class. Thank you, Lori.
Thank you, James.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that little mix up, but I love what's happening right here. This is real. This is in the moment. Thank you for everyone participating. We're going to take a short break, and we'll like 3 minutes, grab a glass of water, use the restroom, bio break, and we'll come back for the second session.